Rain or shine, they showed up for President Trump tonight in western Pennsylvania, and it was pouring rain. President Trump wants to give a boost to another primary candidate. He's endorsed Dr. Mehmet Oz. You know him as Dr. Oz from TV. He's running for Senate in Pennsylvania and hopes to ride that Trump wave to victory on May 17th, just as J.D. Vance did in Ohio this past Tuesday. Like Vance, Oz has been pushing the endorsement. That's from his campaign website, you can see. In fact, many of the candidates Trump has endorsed shouted from the rooftops, all looking to grab the MAGA vote. But the question, are these candidates truly on board with the MAGA agenda or just looking to get Trump's seal of approval and the spoils that come with it? Niall Stanage, White House columnist at The Hill, among a number of other titles at our sister publication. Niall, good to see you, my friend. Look, you've got to give Trump credit, right? Ohio, Pennsylvania, same kind of workers. We saw a lot of voters break for J.D. Vance, went from third to first. Any reason that that doesn't work in Pennsylvania for Mehmet Oz?
I'm not sure that there is. I mean, clearly, as you say, there was a very tangible effect from Trump's endorsement of J.D. Vance in Ohio. When it comes to Pennsylvania, yes, there are certainly some questions from more ideological conservatives about some of Mehmet Oz's past positions on issues like gun control and abortion. But the reality of Republican politics right now is if you have former President Trump's endorsement, it is clearly a very valuable thing to have in a Republican primary. Very valuable in a Republican primary.
Obviously, Republicans won't talk about this on the record. Off the record, how many Republicans that you talk about worry that tying yourself to Trump in 2022 will allow Democrats to run against Trump even though he's not on the ballot?
I think it's a great question, and that concern is definitely out there. It's not just been expressed behind the scenes. I mean, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell made a version of that argument quite recently. And it's interesting that President Biden now has been trying to tie the Republican Party writ large to what he terms the MAGA movement. Obviously, Biden hoping to do that in a way that is to his electoral advantage. So it is a problem. We were just talking about Trump's value in a Republican primary. With the broader electorate, as you know, he has very high unfavorable ratings, as well as that strong base of support from his backers. So it's a much more complicated picture in the general election.
Yeah, no, the general always makes it more difficult. Interestingly enough, one of the reasons that Trump says he endorsed Oz, even though, as you point out, he's probably, to use a MAGA word, squishy on a couple of their issues, transgender issues being among them, is he thinks that Oz will do better in a general election. Take a listen.
With thousands of proud Dr. Oz is a man who truly believes in Make America Great Again or the MAGA movement. He believes it 100%, and he is in love with our country. And very importantly, he's supported by somebody known as me. He's supported by me.
Okay. Unclear what Oz really believes because he keeps changing his mind on a number of these issues. I think this goes to the question, though. Trump's GOP approval in Pennsylvania, 77%. How long is Trump's endorsement good for? And I guess the answer is till it's not, right?
Yes, that is the answer. There have been various predictions made at times by people in my business, as well as by Trump critics in the Republican Party, suggesting that his influence is about to wane, his grip is about to loosen, traditional or establishment Republicans are about to make a comeback. The reality of the matter is that generally hasn't happened. And you raised a great point, Leland, about Dr. Oz and whether he really believes in the ideology of this. What we're seeing in a lot of these primaries is a test of how far the simple backing of Donald Trump will carry you, whatever your past record happens to be. And in the Republican primary, it seems to carry you pretty far by all accounts.
Yeah, and so much of that, at least for Trump and Trump supporters, depending on the state, is how much you'll buy into that 2020 was rigged and President Trump actually won and it was stolen from him, something that Democrats just love getting Republican primary candidates to say so they can run against it. The flip side of sort of the view President Trump delivered on the stump today, Pennsylvania, is President Biden in Ohio. Take a listen.
I've never been more optimistic, and I mean this sincerely. I've never been more optimistic about America than I am today. Not because I'm president, but because everybody's waking up. It's a new time. Because of my economic strategy, companies and jobs are coming home again.
All right. People don't really feel that way. Biden approval, 41%, 59% disapprove. Handling of the economy, only 34% approve, 66% disapprove. We've seen lower numbers than that. Does the White House worry that voters are going to sort of say, even discount what the president's saying more? It's like, do you believe him or your lying eyes?
I think there is a danger that they tune the president out. He is trying, of course, to make the case for the stronger elements of the economy and of economic performance during his tenure. And there are strong elements of economic performance during his tenure, particularly when it comes to job creation. The problem, I think, is that that is being massively overshadowed right now by inflation in particular. As we know, the inflation rate is its highest since the early 1980s at this point. And that is a problem or a dynamic that is felt by everyone every time they go to the grocery store, every time they go to the gas station. That just makes it much more difficult, I think, for the president to shine a light on these stronger elements of the economy, which do exist.
No, they definitely exist. The numbers are there. People just don't feel it. So it's sort of, if you're telling people you should feel better because of these numbers, it doesn't resonate, at least so far in the polling, it has not. We tie this all together, right? Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, that was the three states that put Trump over the edge in 2016. It's the two of the states that Biden turned around. Pennsylvania, obviously, is where he's from. We center now back to Ohio. Tim Ryan, the Democrat nominee, congressman, will take on J.D. Vance. Vance was in Pennsylvania, the Trump endorsee, campaigning with Oz, and Ryan made this video and put it on Twitter making fun of him.
This is Ohio where you're running, JP, and this is where you are today with Dr. Oz. Now, I don't know if you're there, you have like a doctor's appointment or something? Is this like your annual checkup? I don't know, but you're in Pennsylvania, but you're actually running in Ohio.
And you could have made sort of a pretty similar video. Tim Ryan, the president, a Democrat, is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and you, a Democrat, Tim Ryan, are not there.
Right. And there are political reasons for that, of course. Primarily the fact that President Biden, in the last poll I saw, is about 19 points underwater in terms of his job approval in Ohio. Tim Ryan, Leland, is clearly running in a way that is aiming to distance himself from the National Democratic Party, emphasizing his own blue-collar roots. In Ohio, he grew up, I believe, on the outskirts of Youngstown, trying to present himself as someone who is a more moderate, centrist figure in tune with working people than perhaps is the image of other members of the Democratic Party.
Look, there's reasons to say that, right? Tim Ryan was one of the few who challenged Nancy Pelosi. J.D. Vance, Yale-educated investment banker and venture capitalist. Hard to know who's the real populist. I think the Washington Post said, would the real populist please stand up? Niall, it's good to see you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, all right?
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.